Hello, it's Max, and it's been a while since I've talked. It's cause today my boy NAOYA got some changes. If you haven't read the patch notes, he got like a mini rework with how some of his skills work now. So let me quickly explain everything. Editing Max here. During the edit of this video, they added some buffs to NAOYA. So yeah, quickly read these so you understand later. Projection meter inflicted by a head of the hay clears upon their death. If you inflict meter on someone and you die, the meter on the opponent just goes away. Final M1 forces wake up on ragdoll players. If someone is ragdolled, then your last M1 will make them stand up. Final M1 stun is now fully evasiveable. You can already evade it out of NAOYA's M1s before, I'm pretty sure, unless they revert that. Final M1 projection meter reduced to 35%, and Final M1 only gives 30% projection meter on opponent who already has projection meter. Now this just means that you need to catch someone 4 times instead of 3 times before. This is enough, but the next few buffs can compensate. Dash is now enabled during M1 end lag if you hit an opponent. This means that you can dash right after you do your last M1. So 4 M1s into bleed out is now true. Double dashes now have an added 0.4 seconds of downtime. This is a significant nerf because a lot of NAOYA's aggression is carried by this. If you don't like to M1 trade, you can just dash around someone twice and get to their block. Oh yeah, and being passive with it too. You can't be as passive anymore, like running away. Self-projection no longer drains passively. Before your self-projection meter goes down by itself. Now this is to prevent passive players from just waiting for their self-projection to go down, then going in, miss and not get punished. Self-projection is not applied while in your own domain. A nice buff for when you need to kill someone quickly in your domain without getting punished. Getting a move counted no longer gives self-projection. This is another good buff because self-projection counts as a miss but you didn't miss. Self-projection now applies damage multiplier when hit by another head of the hay. Now your counters are other NAOYAs. This just means they will do 3 times damage during frame. And you have self-projection if that makes sense, because apparently before it didn't do that. Decisive Strike gives 50% self-projection on miss while 45% on block, same as Projection Breaker. This is a buff kinda cause you can't lose the self-projection meter passively anymore. Frame Projection Sorcery resets your M1s. This is to prevent you doing your last M1 after R special, I think. Projection Breaker does not ragdoll when it frames a target. Projection Breaker now gives projection meter and can frame someone. When you frame someone, they don't ragdoll. Projection Breaker gives 50% projection meter on frame. If you use Projection Breaker on someone that is framed, then it will give 50% instead of 60. Projection Breaker gives 30% projection meter on opponent who already has projection meter. This just means Projection Breaker can now give meter to people who already had it. Before, you can only apply meter to opponent that didn't have any. Bleed out startup decreased by 10%. This is to make 4 M1s into bleed out true, so it's a nice buff. Bleed count status effects increase projection meter gain from final M1 to 40%. A buff to make you use bleed out more. So instead of catching someone 4 times to frame them, you need to catch them 3 times. Aerial Decisive Strike startup decreased by 15%. Decisive Strike speed during grab increased by 10%. This just means it starts off slow and then fast. Cursory impact hitbox width increased. Just makes the hitbox a bit bigger to land it more consistently. Cursory impact doubles current projection meter but cannot frame an opponent. Before, cursory impact didn't give projection meter at all, so this is a good buff. Overall, I mean, NAOYA kinda feels okay to play if you know what you're doing. Although I haven't touched him after his big nerf. They're making him into a more skilled character, so you really need to think before pressing a skill. If I were to put him on the tier list, then he would be like B tier or low B tier, somewhere around there. If you were to land most of his combos, then he wouldn't suck so bad. Speaking of combos, I got a few new ones to showcase. Game's so boring.
Yep.
I can't see anything. The tree. Yeah.
Oh, wait.
That's how you do it. That's how you
Not.
do it.
Dude, why not?